Danger. Structurally unsafe. Please stay out of buildings. Fuck that noise.
Hey everybody, CT Hippo and Natalie out here today. Today we are at the Northern State Hospital farm. Northern State Hospital was a mental institution. Originally, construction started in 1909, was opened in 1912, was built to relieve overcrowding at Western State Hospital down by Tacoma. And at its peak, there were as many as 2,700 patients here in the 50s. The hospital was operated until either 1973 or 76. Sources kind of differ on that. When the legislature cut the funding and it literally shut down overnight. So in the main portion of the hospital, there's all the equipment and wheelchairs and beds are still there because they were just literally they shut down overnight and walked away from it. We're out here today at the farm. It was a 700-acre farm that served not only this hospital but also provided food for the rest of the state hospital system. It was operated by patients here at the hospital and served both as a therapeutic and also a job skills development program, as well as providing food for the hospital system. So we're going to start here in the dairy barn area and kind of wander around.
So this is one of the dairy barns. You can see the stalls here for the cows and the gutter to wash the cow poo down into. Pretty easy to see here where the stairway to the loft level once was. Concrete sinks. Kind of interesting metal grate work between the stalls here. Not entirely sure why they bothered. And then on this side, you've got the alley so they can come through and feed them. So hay comes in on this side, poop goes out that side. These cupolas are one of the common architectural features of the site. You see it on most of the barns. It's the boiler house for the milking parlor. We'll go in there in a minute. Another one of the milking barns, or cattle barns. The milking actually took place over there, but again, you can see the layout of the stalls on each side with the gutter for manure and the central aisleway. You can see this has the cuts in it, which gave the cows better purchase on their hooves, so they didn't fall down as often. Big scissor trusses up there. And then the ventilation and light holes in the top. This silo is probably for feed, possibly grain. And this central structure here provided a lot of the support systems for the milking parlor. I believe this is probably a bathroom or washing room of some sort. Remnants of a shower in here. See, the roof has come down on big parts of this. There's signs up all over that the buildings are structurally unsound, keep out, which of course I roundly ignore. Electrical room in here. And then next to it is the first of the three boilers we'll see today. These are, I believe, coal-fired water tube boilers. You would have fed coal into the firebox down here. It's probably not going to show up. And then there would have been water in the tubes, and they boiled, produced steam. Smoke went up that stack, and there's a chimney up above. Then the steam would have gone off to that header there. Big receiver tank. Kind of gets lost in the glare of the light, but Then this was the milking parlor itself. There are 4 or 5 barns that house the cattle. And they come in here to be milked. See, there's the ramp going in here and then coming out over there. So they went in this end and came out that end. The people door is there. You notice the bars to keep the cows out. And cows would come in here and into one of these stalls. There'd be grain or hay there in that little bin, and the workers down in this trench or lower section would come along and put the milking machines on the cows, and they'd gnaw them on their grain and get milked. And then when all the cows in a set were done, they'd come down this way past this gate, out through here and down that ramp and go back to their barn. So coming back down, this is a really tight fit. Down in the working trough. This would have been the worker's view. That's staring down the length of a cow. Again, the trough here to catch manure. Probably a timer circuit. Big Dutchman brand. This room probably contained the pumps and would have been the collection, where the collecting tank for the milk would have been. You can see the roof's collapsed in here, and there's the leg for the electrical system. Got the pipes along the ceiling. That may very well have been for the milk to come in, and then there would have been big tanks in here. Should drag Clayton's dad down here. He'd understand this better.
Yeah.
Remnants of one of the switch boxes. And this is a feature that's kind of confused me for quite a while. Is because, so this is the one of the paths. The cows would have come out of here and then stairs. Cows don't do stairs very well, so I'm not sure how that worked. Footage of me trying to squeeze through here.
Go under.
Go under, she says.
Watch this.
You know those are the 2 most dangerous words in the English language, don't you?
Watch this.
Watch this. Then another of these giant cow barns. You can see up there, it's where one of those cupolas is. Pigeon crawling around up in there. Old fuse box here. Yeah. Watch your step. This auger was probably part of the system for moving grain into those troughs that we saw, which would give the cows something to munch on while they were being milked. May have come off of the big silo we saw earlier. And speaking of silos, there's the manure holder. So cow poop goes in there. Stairway ladder that goes on up to the top. You can see the and then I believe this barn here was actually for the horses that they used for managing the cows. You can see the construction's a little bit different. Individual spaces for the animals. Got a feed box. Might have been for oats or for a salt lick. So this was for the horses. Another stall. Looking down the central aisle. The size of the timbers used here is fairly impressive. That's a solid 4x12. They had in addition to the farm, they had a sawmill on site and a quarry and all sorts of other things. Again, when this was built, this area was pretty remarkably remote, and so the farm and the larger hospital needed to be as self-sufficient as possible. This would have been the tack room, where the saddles and bridles and stuff would have been stored. And then 4 stalls for the horses with ladders so you could climb up into them. What's that?
The ladders, what would they would use them for?
I think for getting hay in.
Hey, yeah, I think so.
can see there where they put tin over the original shake roof. It's kind of gotten blown out by the wind. More cow barns. More cow barns. Interesting to know just how many head of cattle they had here at any given time. Right up that way is the cemetery, and there's something like 1,500 people buried there. And the other way to do this is you can park up there and come in to this part and start in this part of the farm. But we didn't do that today. A little bit of a view of how these were built with hollow terracotta bricks and then a skim coat of concrete or something like that on inside and outside. It's held up pretty well for being as old as it is. So down here below the farm itself, we have the creamery, which is the two-story building there ahead of us, and the root cellars over there, which are mostly collapsed. And then up a little bit further is the bakery and the cannery, yeah, whatever. Place where canning happens. So let's take a look at these. So this was a big two-story building, and you can see a piece of machinery still there through the window. Unfortunately, that's rather inaccessible as access to the upper floor collapsed long before I got here. The building is partially collapsed and probably contains asbestos and God knows what all else, so unless you're crazy like me, don't do this. Got a bathroom in here. Because, you know, some things are just universal. Got some of the machinery that was used in the process. That might be hold on, the term will come to me. Pasteurizer, because that's how milk is pasteurized, is you heat it. This was a cart over on its side here that was used for moving materials around. Big vessel. I think this might have been some kind of a pressure vessel, so again, possibly a pasteurizer. You can see the underside of it. The pipes here probably handled either steam or possibly milk. I don't know. I suspect it was brought over in some kind of tanks from the milking parlor to be processed. I doubt they would have piped it over here, but you know, stranger things have been known to happen. Here's the upper floor. The roof collapsed on it and that piece of machinery. The debris pile where the wall came down. Big hole in the floor there. Inside of the vessel. You note the thickness on this door. I'm going to guess that was for a refrigerator. Whoa, frog. Pacific Pumping Company, Oakland, California. So there's a tank under the floor here. Again, not sure what that was for. Here's a froggy. There he goes. But yeah, this was probably a walk-in refrigerator here that this door went on. And this is where they would have stored the finished product. And then if we come around this way, the other side of the creamery building. A lot of wiring in here. You can see how much this conduit's come down off the ceiling, and I suspect this was a steam pipe. Leads over to the next building over there, which has a second boiler. Another one of these carts. It's got a nice skylight. That's what they look like on the inside. Sink or a curd washer or something. More sinks there. More sinks over there. We've got a this kind of a rack is commonly used in commercial powered dishwashing machines that have kind of a conveyor belt and you shove it in there. And then if we step through the window here, oof. Into the electrical room, electrical vault. There's a pump body maybe there. Let's see somebody kick the door in. And then the big electrical breakers here. Get lost with me. Okay. Woohoo. A little wet in here. Yeah. I can't get that open. But yeah, neat old electrical panels. So we can get a shot of the manufacturer's mark there.
Can you see anything there?
It's mostly just full of water. So you want to come around, or do you want to come through the window, or?
Not
What?
something I can't kneel down.
No, no. Watch, there's nail here and a bolt there. So. Then up this way, the bakery building. See the roof's collapsed there. There's another one of those boilers. Steam pipe comes out and up here and probably went over to the creamery. Some kind of steam collector vessel in there. And then coming down and around the corner, See the collapsed wall of the bakery. There's the root cellars. And then the remains of the creamery. And the electrical vault's right there. Well, more of this has come down since the last time I was here.
Yeah.
Because we were able to walk into this
Yeah.
last time.
Totally.
So inside the bakery, you can see the boiler here. Yeah, you can see the light colored wood. This has just collapsed in the last couple of months. So who knows how much longer anybody will be able to get in here. Some kind of maybe a hot water heater. A stack that goes up there. That was until yeah, just like I say, in the last couple months, there was a smokestack in the roof of this building. You can see parts of it there. That's where it went through the roof. Came down here into the top of the boiler. Little interlude here. These photos were taken in November of 2017 when I visited the site for the first time, and so you can see just how much it's collapsed since then. There's the steam outlet pipe. And here behind us are the electrical boxes. Safety switch, suitable for use with service equipment. Fortunately, I can't find a date on any of this stuff. But the farm was continuously upgraded throughout its life, and a lot of the equipment in here is of reasonably modern construction. You can see the charring on here. This burned at some point. Whether that was recent vandalism or whether that was something that happened while it was operational, it's hard to say. You can definitely see how this is starting to come apart. And here in the bakery portion of it, got some lockers that are fallen over. Another one of these carts. Some kind of a, again, probably a walk-in fridge, walk-in refrigerator. Cupola structure up there. Sinks and oh, they moved them. There's a lot of these. These are bread pans. It's a 4-loaf pan, so you put a loaf in each one of those. This next room, last time we were here, had a whole mess of them. So somebody's removed those recently. Well, here's okay. There's still some of them here. It's kind of a testament to how quickly this place was abandoned, that so much stuff like that is still left here. It's probably a commercial mixer. Storage room of some kind. This was a rolling cart. See the wheels on the other end there. And remnants of the roll-up door here would have been, there's a loading dock. So back in the day, they would have backed trucks up right here to load them with the output of the bakery, and then also another door off that storeroom. And got one of the heaters up here. This would have been probably a steam, so it would have had a fan in there, and then steam from the boiler would have been piped to a radiator system and air blown through it. Ow. Huh?
Your knees clear
My knee's still bugging me. It's mostly just going downstairs. Another look between the buildings here. So we're headed up to the dairy barn past the slaughterhouse, and we found these big steel pipes in the ground. And not absolutely sure where they go. Best guess is that they come off the pump house and continue up that way to something. Somewhere up there was the rock quarry, which I presume was on the mountain. So maybe they fed that for some reason. Don't know. Something to investigate. So it doesn't much look like it from here, but that giant lump of vegetation is actually one of the cow barns. I believe that unlike the dairy barns lower down, this is for the beef cattle. But despite being overgrown, it's actually fairly intact, or at least it was the first time I was here. So let's go take a look. Kind of oddly shaped, and the roof's not in the best of condition, but it's a rather cool old barn. There's two more barns, both of them basically collapsed down by the pump house, which, to be honest, I'm not ambitious enough to trek down there today. But I believe those two were part of the beef operation. Constituted large-scale cow parking, because, you know, you gotta park your cows someplace. So this is the slaughterhouse. In addition to the dairy cattle, they also raise beef cattle out here. And this is where they came to meet their rather sticky ends. Because, you know, everybody ends up as hamburger. And steak. Only the good people end up as steak. Comes with a couch. So as you can see, the interior is rather thoroughly collapsed. But if we go around, there's a back door. And yeah, there's the back door. So here we have the third boiler and the now familiar steam receiver pipe. See, there's the stack for it. This is probably a coal feeder. This foot would have sat on the floor, and it would blow coal up into the firebox here. So this space here with these slats was probably the coal holder, coal shed, coal repository. I don't know, bunker, I guess. Electrical box there. Couple more fuse panels on the wall. Hope you didn't have to get at that one very often. Top side of the boiler. And then that's a stack for something. Ladder there that went up. Time to do something stupid.
You fund me doing stupid things. You see there's a vent fan there and a light socket.
Ladder up to the roof. This, you see these tracks here, I suspect would have been for hanging meat carcasses on.
So this was originally hanging from the roof and fell down when the structure collapsed. There's another room over there. These might be bathrooms, would be my guess.
Oh, good.
Hard to say for sure. They had wiring, but
This is some kind of a relief valve. Steam system. Flies buzzing around in here, which is just a little disconcerting. Not sure what this space was. Concrete walls. Long I-beam here was almost certainly again for hauling carcasses around to the various stations in here for cutting.
stuff you don't notice from without actually getting into this part of it. I am really curious how this all worked. Big steel sink here that the
Ductwork is collapsed down into, and then this was a casing for a fan. It's probably up there at one point, but hard to say. Oh, is that a... This mechanism is probably a damper or flue adjuster. Motor in there that turned a butterfly valve. Okay, let's see if I can get back out of this.
How low can she go?
Well, all the way to the floor.
Getting too old for this shit.
Oh, fuck off.
Old man.
Yep. We're very definitely getting old.